Hi, this is Murtaza Badri and welcome to the Life Transformation blog. Today's question is very interesting and it comes from a housewife from Dahod, Gujrat. And she asks, how do I control my anger and speak open-heartedly without being rude? Now when I read this question, very interesting, very small question, but has a lot of elements to it. So what I did is I said this question has to be answered on a board. So we are here on a board, all my fancy colors and all my creativity here. Of course not me, my team also. So what we have done is we have broken the question into first, how do I control anger, which I'm going to talk about. Then we're going to move to speak open-heartedly, and the last but not least, how do you do that without being rude? Now, most often this question is something which most of us have, and in different forms and formats, and we all want to express ourselves open-heartedly, but we really get pissed about something and then we land up being rude. And we know that we don't want to be rude, and the question is very well put, and I'm sure most of you want this question answered, and that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Let's start with the first part, which is control anger. Now everybody gets angry, right? Tell me if you've not got angry ever in your life. Something happens and we get pissed, and this is like $1 million question. How do I control my anger? Now, to control your anger, what you have to do first is you need to accept. You need to accept what? You need to accept the event, the situation, the communication, the behavior. Now this behavior could be from your children, from your spouse, it could be from your in-laws, it could be from your employees, it could be from society, it could be from your friend. And whatever is happening in terms of the behavior, the interaction, why do we get angry is we are not able to accept the behavior. We are not able to accept why we're not able to accept the behavior of my child or the behavior of my spouse, and we immediately say, why are they behaving this way? My child is not supposed to be behaving this way. You don't understand, and we get angry. So what you need to do is first accept. Second, you need to ask a question. You need to ask a question to the person that you are angry on or angry about. What do I mean ask a question? Very simple. If somebody is doing something and you got pissed or you get angry, then rather than reacting to the situation or start yelling or being disrespectful, what you need to do is ask a question. For example, why is it that you're behaving this way? Why are you saying this? Why are you not doing this? Or why are you doing this? A question mark. And just ask the question very politely. If you've accepted, okay, this is what the person is doing, then ask a question. Why do you say this? Why do you do this? Or why can't you do this? Or why can't you say this? Or be polite, or be, whatever behavior that you want from that person. Ask. Now sometimes with the kids, you have to go a little more in the, child or, son or daughter. Why do you do this? Can you please tell me, why did you just hit your brother or your daughter or your sister? Or why is it that you're behaving rude? Or a question which allows you to do two things. One is it allows you some time, and second, it allows the other person to explain why is the behavior or why is the behavior not done. The next one is when you ask the question, you want to listen. That is a big one, right? We get so pissed and we react, and boom, that's it. Everybody is yelling, screaming, speaking loud. Nobody's talking heart to heart, and you being rude. The person gets rude, you get rude, and it's a mess. So you ask a question and then you listen for the answer. You know what, my sister is irritating me, or something went wrong, or I am upset, or I am doing this behavior because I'm hungry, or I want something, or I don't want something, or I'm pissed off, or the person gets an opportunity to explain. It might be your child, it might be your spouse, it might be at work, I don't care. The same process works. Ask why a person was late at work, and then listen to the question, listen to the answer to the question. Once you listen, that allows you to understand why the behavior happened. Immediately, then your response can be to talk to that person. Now, when the person said why the behavior was done, volume. Keep your volume low. The only way to express open-heartedly without being rude is to have control over your volume. So sometimes a child does something, why you don't understand, why are you doing this? Now this volume creates a lot of negativity. The child tends to step back and you're not able to express at work or in your relationship. Keep the volume low. So for example, if I have to be straight, I said, why did you do this? Okay, you're telling me that you are being naughty because you are hungry. All right, so let's do this. Let's get you food, or let's feed you before we do something else. Or I understand you're late because of this. So, I would really appreciate that if you could manage yourself and be on time. I would really be happy about that. So my volume is low. I am being straight in communicating. So now volume does not mean, there's a misconception when we say, if you want to show authority, have a big volume. That's not correct. That's a myth. Volume does not mean authority. Speaking with low volume, but talking to the context of what you are speaking is more important. So with the volume, with the question, and you are talking in context. So I'm really talking about your being late, or I'm really talking about you behaving bad, or you are behaving in a way which is not acceptable. That is what I am communicating about in the context. So do not jump. You have this habit of doing this. You're always doing this. I don't understand. I'm fed up. I'm frustrated. Why are you behaving like this? Then it goes out of context. And the last but not least, you have to, in order to express yourself with respect, please make sure you're using your words, your vocabulary, your language. It is not abusive. It is not something which is slang. It is not something which is, offends the other person. So the language, the words, the volume, the context that you're talking to, and the words that you're talking is very important in order for you to be able to speak open-heartedly without being angry. Because when you're angry, you really tend to screw up the volume, content, context, and the words. So once you get this guy in control, then work on your volume, context. Do not carry the past. Do not bring in all the, remove all the skeletons from the cupboard. Stay with the context and then choose your words respectfully. So the moment you are choosing respectful words, you're not abusing, you're not using bad language or slang language, then what happens? Boom, you are not rude. And you need to do nothing. Right? That was a good one. Right? You're like, what's the last part? You need to do nothing. You need to do nothing if you accept, if you ask, if you listen. And once you do that, then you use appropriate volume, meaning respectful, low volume, not very high, not very soft also. And you are talking with context to the person, and you are using good language which allows you to speak open-heartedly. And at the end, the answer is you will not be rude. If you are using these two, you will not be rude. You cannot be rude when you talk softly. You cannot be rude when you are talking in context and using appropriate words. And you have already asked the question and you're already listening to what the person is saying, maybe your child, maybe your spouse, in-laws, your colleague, your workplace, or wherever your friends, you will be able to respect that person and not feel being rude. You will feel more alive and fearless if you follow these steps. I hope, lady from Dahod, Gujrat, you've got your answer. And this helps you speak open-heartedly without being rude, and it helps you put your point, because I understand that anger really really hurts everybody around. Nobody wants to be angry and nobody likes to be angry, but we just become or get angry and then we regret. So follow these steps and stay alive, stay fearless, dream big, stay strong. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to ask a question about the video, post your comments below in the comment box. I personally respond to all the questions asked in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.